my name is Charlsie Doan. I am Kelly and Cameron's daughter, and their favorite daughter, their only daughter. And I am Tristan's older sister. I can't say bigger anymore because he's been bigger than me for a really long time, and that's very sad. I am currently a law student in Washington, D.C. So I'm the one introducing my mom, which is the law student thing is relevant, although I'm incapable of talking anything about the law. But anyway, so yes, I grew up here in Dallas, and I moved to DC about a year and a half ago to start law school. And my mom drove with me. I have a cat, so we had to move my cat up to DC. So we drove up. It was a 2-hour drive, and we moved into my apartment. My apartment didn't have a mattress yet. We didn't really have anything, so we were also staying in a hotel. So that first night in DC, my mom was back at the hotel. We had picked up a bunch of stuff on the way from college, from where I went to college in Chapel Hill. So I had a bunch of boxes that I needed to unpack. So I remember my mom had gone back to the hotel. She's not a night owl like I am. And I was unboxing some of this stuff, and I came across these just piles and piles of sticky notes with my mom's handwriting on them, probably 100. Please don't cry. It's not even that, okay. But yeah, I found probably 100 sticky notes of just little notes. Just, I love you, Angel. Don't forget, you're amazing. You can do this. Just little things like that. And I realized just how much all that had meant to me. I sent a picture to my dad, and I was like, I really didn't know. It all hit me all at once, the meaning of what she'd been doing for me all those years. Because as some of you may know, I was not always the well-adjusted law student that you see before you today. And I had a really hard time. So I was born with one hand, as many of you may know. And I had a great childhood, but it kind of all went downhill when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 11 years old. And for about 8 years there, 6 years, I'll be nice, I did not have a good time. I developed issues with eating, depression, all kinds of stuff. At one point, we weren't sure that I would be able to leave home and go to college. I really struggled. And of course, I was in and out of doctors, therapists, all that kind of stuff. But the one person and the one person that I really credit with honestly saving my life, I don't think that I would be here, much less be in law school and about to be financially independent from my parents, without my mom. Just constantly being there and being a source of, no, she can't take my medicine for me, she can't do the work for me, she can't do all that stuff for me, but what she did tell me every day is she never gave up on me. No matter how bad things got, how dark things seemed, she was there every single day telling me that she loved me, that she cared what happened to me, and that she believed that I could do it. And it took a long time, but I did do it. And I can honestly say, I've talked to a couple of you over the time, that I really love my life now. I love law school. I love the relationships and the friendships that I have. I love my relationship with my parents and my brother and my family. And I really am happy, and I really credit her with so much of that. So she's going to tell you a little bit more about what this foundation is going to do and why you all are here. But I just wanted to give you a little background of what she's like and how these small gestures, no, she didn't, she can't do the work for me. She can't be my doctor, she's not my therapist, but just the power of someone telling you, I believe in you, and I care. Someone cares what happens to you, and someone wants you to be happy and wants you to be okay. And that's kind of what this foundation is all going to be about. So without further ado, the great privilege of introducing my mom. I think she's going to get up here too, if I can, she can. So if everyone please give a very warm round of applause for my mom, Kelly.
You got two.
Oh, wait, I have my notes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, I got it. Hold on, I forgot to get my notes out. I was just paying attention to her. I'm not sure why I volunteered to go after her. Oh, okay, I will. Hold on, let me get my cards out.
We've been trying to get y'all to come in.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You can definitely, there's space. You guys can move in a little bit.
Really close. Okay, I got it. Really close. Hopefully they don't have any germs on them, so I don't want any germs. So. Wow, I'm never going to keep it together through this speech. But anyway, first things first. Thank you. You guys, everybody here was invited because you've been part of my journey, and I don't even know what to say. I love you guys. Thank you very much, and I'll say that till the end. But I also, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this. I want to thank the North Texas PGA. What an amazing facility. They have done so much work for this party, more than I ever imagined. So wherever you guys are, thank you for doing everything. And Finn, thank you. I'm sorry, and the wrong direction. Okay, here's my speech. Okay, I'm going to start with my original diagnosis because I know a lot of you don't know what went on. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in May of 2018, right before Charlsie's senior year. Actually, I had every complication you could ever imagine. I had pulmonary embolisms, I had total bowel obstructions, I had 4 surgeries. I spent 43 days in the hospital that summer. And it was brutal. I mean, it was brutal. We didn't know where we were going. As you know, ovarian cancer is the silent killer. But it's not, because I'm here 7.5 years later. And I'm very, very proud of that. But you guys get a lot of credit, because I was so loved that first summer. I mean, for the last 7.5 years, I've been loved. But that first summer, you guys did so much for me and showed me that I had so many people cheering for me. I mean, I got 73 bouquets of flowers or plants that summer. I mean, who gets 73 bouquets of flowers, you know? So many things, but 2 things really stand out that I want to share. One of them, Joe Hager gave me a t-shirt from Notre Dame. I'm not a big Notre Dame fan, no offense or anything, but Coach Parsegian, is that right?
Yes.
His motto was no breaking point. And I've had that shirt. It hangs on my closet door, and I hit it. Here. There you go. When I go by it, I hit it like, I think in the movie Rudy, they walk out the door and hit it. I do the same thing every time because I have no breaking point, just like Joe. No, I don't, but here. I'm sorry.
You're doing perfect.
I didn't know I was going to be this nervous. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't nervous the whole time coming up to this, and now here I am. But that's one that just stands out and reminds me every day. And then the other one is these light blue bracelets, which I know a lot of you have. Not the cornflower blue, but the light blue ones say #Kelly Strong Isaiah 41:10. And a Preston Trail member, and Rex Joe was holding his up back there. A Preston Trail member had those made pretty much right when I was diagnosed, and they ended up everywhere. I mean, I went through the drive-through at Walgreens, and the pharmacy tech was wearing one of my bracelets, and she had seen it on a member's wife who went through the line, and she asked for one. So we also, hello? Okay. We also, that year in November, Cameron won a national award from the PGA, and we went to Indian Wells for the award ceremony, and we sat down, and all of the band had the bracelets. The MC had the bracelets, and I'm sitting there going, how on earth? That's the kind of love that I felt, and that's why I stood her. That's why I got through that one and continue to go. So lots of thank yous for all of that. So, okay, I'm gonna go on now. Hold on. Thank you. One thing I did want to point out, and I think my aunt is here. One thing you guys did provide was prayers, and so many prayers. And at one point, I remember telling my aunt, I don't know where she's at. There she is, telling her, okay, God is going, okay, I get the message. I'm taking care of Kelly. Don't worry about it, because he was just getting bombarded from every direction, and that's part of the reason I'm here. Charlsie kind of touched on it, but everything has a silver lining, and there was a silver lining to me being diagnosed when I was. Nobody wishes this on anybody, but we didn't think Charlsie would be able to go to college. I mean, I was her lifeline, and when I got sick, when you spend 43 days in the hospital, you don't have the energy to help your kids. I mean, that sounds horrible, but I mean, I had things up my nose. I mean, it was awful. And so she had to figure out how to survive on her own. And she did. And she went to Carolina, loved it. I have to add that I'm not saying it was easy for her. I mean, she had a really tough time, especially during the summer, but once we got past that and got going, she got accepted into 11 schools. She has a great story, as you heard, as well, and she was able to go, so that's our silver lining. And I'd like to throw out, she took a gap year between undergrad and law school, and she traveled, and she went to 16 countries. She Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan and Azerbaijan, and not your normal Spain and all those kind of things. But she went by herself. And she's a type 1 diabetic. She had to take 3 months worth of supplies with her. And I don't think she would have ever been able to do that if I hadn't got sick. So I'm gonna look at that as there's a reason I got sick, so she could thrive, and she's absolutely thriving now, so. And Tristan, unfortunately, isn't part of the story much.
He does great on his own.
But he is going to Oxford, starting on Sunday. He's leaving for Oxford. And we could not be more proud. But it's good that I don't have to report anything bad, no illnesses or anything like that. So, anyway, fast forward to COVID. Right before COVID, I got diagnosed with my first recurrence. And, do we have to get out again? Okay. And I decided the bracelets made a huge impact on me, and I'm trying really hard to talk to this. Hello. Can you hear me? No? Oh, can you hear me? Okay. I wanted to help everybody else, help other people, inspire other people like the bracelets inspired me. So I ordered 500 bracelets that say, "We can totally do this, never stop believing." And I was going to hand them out at have them out at chemo. But COVID hit before the bracelets got to our house. When they arrived, they came from China. So they sat in our garage for 2 months, unopened. We never even opened them. And I had to figure out something else. So I started sending them to people with going through the same thing as I was. I sent out an email to everybody I knew, said, if you know somebody going through it, let me write them a letter, include a bracelet, and we went from there. And just an example, Cameron knows a man in Alabama, and his wife was going through breast cancer, so I sent her a bracelet, and we have become great friends. We went to the Balloon Festival together a few years ago. If you don't have that on your bucket list, I highly recommend the Albuquerque Balloon Festival. And then ironically, she gave me a name of another person going through breast cancer here, which was total fluke because she's in Birmingham. And during COVID, I sent her a bracelet, Beth, and she is actually here somewhere too. She's back there waving. And we got on this total pen pal thing through email and went back and forth because we couldn't see each other. We probably messaged for 6 months, and now she's one of my best friends. So not only does this helping people, it's helping me too, because I just met so many incredible people. Okay, I don't know. The bracelets. Okay, I've had 3 more recurrences since COVID. When I started the 3rd one, I go to UT Southwestern Richardson, which is a really small infusion center compared to compared to UT Dallas, UT Southwestern Dallas, basically. So I would get hooked up to my chemo. So I had an IV pole dragging around, and I go room to room and walk in, knock on the door and walk in and say, I just want to give you this. It says we can totally do this, never stop believing. And I don't care how grumpy they were before I got there, it turned everybody around, and they'll give me, yes, we can. And it makes such a big difference in all the women that have gone to chemo with me. Barbie's sitting over there nodding. It's so impactful. It's just amazing. There was a man, I have a few stories, but there was a man, I went with Cameron. Cameron came with me. Cameron's not the best company for chemo. You guys will be happy to know he continues to work while we're at chemo. It's more fun with friends because we just sit there and talk. But this man was coming out of the bathroom just grumpy, and I thought, okay, do I really want to get him a bracelet? But we followed the nurses in, and all the nurses love me, so I handed him a bracelet. Instant change in his expression. And he's all, yeah, you're right, we can do this. And that's what I'm trying to convey, as Charlsie said, with the foundation. I want to reach people and convince them that they can do it, whatever your diagnosis is, whatever your prognosis is. You never know. Doctor tells you have 6 months to live. They have no idea. I'm sorry, doctors out there, but they don't. They're just giving you some number for you to prepare, I guess. I don't even know why they do it. But never give up. So, okay. When I was diagnosed this time, I mentioned that I've gone to UT Southwestern Richardson for the last 3 recurrences. And when I was diagnosed this time, the first time I went in, one of the medical assistants looked at me and said, oh, Kelly's back. But she said, God gave you a recurrence so you could be the light for the other patients. And obviously that has stuck with me. Now every time I go to chemo, I wear a shirt that says be the light. But she's right. I mean, I don't know, maybe that is his rationale, but that's the good I can do with the bracelets. And that's all I've done up until now is the bracelets. So, anyway. One other thing they changed at UT Southwestern very recently, and I really truly believe is because of me. And again, this is at Richardson. I don't know what happens at Dallas. But everybody knows you ring the bell on your last chemo. They changed that policy at Richardson. Now you can ring the bell to celebrate anything. So when I went in for my 50th infusion, they asked me if I wanted to ring the bell. I was like, I can't ring the bell. I don't know when I'm going to finish chemo. And they're all, nope, we changed the policy. They don't care if your son graduated from high school or you have your 50th infusion, it's your birthday. And that's what it's all about. Celebrate the little things. Okay, yeah, finishing chemo is awesome. I've done it 4 times already. But there's so much more to life. And I remember when Charlsie was going through an eating disorder, I had a board up on the refrigerator, and I made her write down every little thing she accomplished. Because it's not one big thing. It's all the little things that make up the successes. So I'm sorry if you guys are getting wet. I just want to give a couple examples of the bracelet, handing out the bracelets. One lady, she was in room 1, I distinctly remember, and I went in and she was not having a good day. And I gave her the bracelet, and I continued to go into the other rooms, and she came out of her room with her IV pole and gave me a hug and said, that is exactly what I needed to hear today. There's another lady, during my 4th recurrence, I always go on Thursdays, so it doesn't conflict with Cameron's schedule or golf. It works out best, because he comes with me for labs regardless, but anyway. So I see some of the people multiple times. And this lady I had seen 3 times, which is really pretty rare, because there's a million people going through there. And the 3rd time I saw her, she said, you realize you changed my life. She said, I was getting ready to die, and then I realized I was ready to live. We're alive today. We're here today. Enjoy today. basically. And that's the impact I've had on the patients. There was another patient when Cameron did come with me to chemo, like a month ago. We ran across a lady and her husband, and I don't know how we get talking. Sometimes I just hand them the bracelet and I leave, and other times we get on these long conversations. But this lady and this man started talking, and she's going through ovarian cancer, ironically with the same oncologist that I have. And but what I thought was really neat, the reason I'm sharing the story is the husband started talking, because you don't think about the caregivers much, but the caregivers go through an awful lot too, and they were talking about how hard it was to pick up everything and how to please the wives and cook the right meals and all that kind of stuff. But it made an impact on Dale, his name was Dale, as well as his wife. So. Last story about the bracelets hanging out. Actually, there's 2 more stories. Thursday, I go in every Thursday to get a platelet shot because my platelets suck, basically. All from chemo. I have great bone marrow, just crappy platelets. Anyway, so I was sitting outside waiting because I have to wait for about an hour between blood and shot because I have to make it and call the doctor and all that kind of stuff. So I was sitting outside and a lady came and sat next to me. Again, not happy. And I took out a bracelet and I said, I just want to give you this. We can totally do this, never stop believing. And she smiled and said thank you and put it on. And a couple minutes later she said, I'm usually really talkative. And I said, you don't have to talk to me, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure you had the bracelet. And 2 minutes later, she couldn't shut up. And her and I just talked, and I went back and got my shot, came out, she's still sitting there. We talked for 15 minutes. And she inspired me just as much as I inspired her. And Cameron kept calling while I was talking to her. And I wouldn't answer. And finally he said, I'm talking to a patient. I usually always answer my phone, so he was kind of worried about it. But that's just the impact that I have on these people. And anyway, okay. The idea about the foundation. Which is my last thing. Another lady I spoke to, and I don't know who was with me, but I handed her a bracelet, and for some reason we got to talking, and she asked what kind of cancer I have, and I said, yeah, this is my 48th infusion, and I've been doing this for 7 years. And she's all, that is incredible. And for some reason it clicked. It's like, why aren't we celebrating this? My birthday was coming up. My 50th infusion was the end of July. My birthday's the second week of August. I told Cameron, I said, let's celebrate, let's have a party. We never have parties, we never go to parties, I've never thrown a party. But here we are. Anyway, so we started talking. We can't have it inside because then I have to wear a mask if it's enclosed. And then we wanted to invite all of you. So where would accommodate all of you? It certainly wasn't our house or anything like that, so he threw out the Ronnie. And but during that conversation, he said, why don't you start a foundation? I've been praying to God for a purpose in my life for a long time. My purpose was raising my kids, and I did an amazing job at that. But I needed something to do. And the bracelets are amazing, absolutely amazing, but I want to do more. I mean, I can do more. I have the ability. I mean, look at me. I'm still going through chemo. Would you be able to tell just by looking at me that I'm going through chemo? I've been doing it for 11 months. I mean, I know when people see me, they look at me and go, yeah, if you can do that, I can do that. And you just have to stay positive. So Cameron brought up the foundation. We got the NTPGA involved. I don't know, Kelly's around here somewhere. I picked one day in the next, between that day and the end of October, September 21st. I checked to make sure there were no golf tournaments or anything like that around that time. And what?
I'll let
And so, did I lose him again? There we go. Thank you for holding that. So I had Kelly over, and she said, I was telling her the story about the foundation, and she goes, well, why'd you have it at the Ronnie? I said, funny you should ask, because we were going to ask you if we could have it at the Ronnie. And the only other condition, they had it open, completely open. The only other condition was if Ben could play.
Not good.
And Finn could play. He's here. He's here. So, yeah, and then we got going, and it all fell into place, and all of you are here to support me, to support the foundation, to celebrate me, I guess would be a better way of saying it. So, anyway. Okay.
You're doing great.
I'm sure you figured out what I want to accomplish with the foundation. One of the things, the first project, basically for the foundation, is I created a journal, and on the outside of the journal is a bunch of quotes. And as you see, all these quotes up here that have been flashing, I did, and those are actually all my pictures. I took all those pictures. Yeah, that's Mackinac Island. Okay, anyway, so it has a bunch of quotes on the outside, very inspirational. Then on the inside is an abbreviated version of the letter I write to people when I send the bracelets. So, but it applies to anybody. It applies to anybody with a serious medical diagnosis. It doesn't just have to be cancer. Type 1, I mean, just anything. And so we have 200 of these. So if you know somebody, and I bet 100% of you know somebody going through something like I am, and take one and give it to them and let them know about the foundation. Our website is up. Has a long way to go, but it's up. It talks about what we do. It just doesn't have all the inspirational things that I want to get up on there yet. We have Instagram, and that's all on the back of the journal too. Instagram. We just want to reach people and inspire them and let them know that they can do it too. So, I'm almost done. Last thing I wanted to talk about. I'm never going to keep it together on this one. There's a book called Radical Remission. There's 10 steps to radical remission, and it includes things like chemo and supplements and diets. But one of the biggest things about radical remission is having a purpose to live. And those two and that guy out there are my reason to live. And you gotta have a reason to live. You gotta put that energy somewhere and want to stay here for that reason. Cameron has been amazing, and thank you, all you Preston Trail members. He couldn't be the husband he is if you guys weren't so accommodating. 43 days in the hospital is a really long time, and you guys didn't even flinch. Yeah. So anyway, but a reason for living, and that's another thing I like to inspire to people. There's a reason we're here. We need to find a reason to live, and you don't even have to be sick to look for that. I mean, we all need a purpose, a reason to live. So. Yeah. I assume under the new itinerary, we're still going to come back up here one more time. But I do want to say thank you to all of you, because you have been my prayer warriors, you've been my cheerleading squad. Everybody we invited has made an impact on our lives, and I'm extremely grateful. I truly don't believe I would be here without you all. I can do everything I need to do. I mean, I do so many things to take care of myself. I'm the healthiest sick person you will ever run across. But without the prayers and the love and everything from you all, I couldn't have done it. So I am going to turn it over to Finn. Right?
Don't anybody move.